There's a hole in my roof. I have to drill another one. Kind of scared. We're going to add solar to the van, so had to get a lot of things that's needed. So one was the solar charge controller. This is the Booz RV 60 amp MPPT solar charge controller. Some mounts. I already have 3 of these on top and a rail on top of the van, but these are to be able to attach my unistrut to the roof of the van. Solar panel Z brackets. These are going to attach to the solar panels and then attach to the unistrut rails that we have up there. Solar connector, some cables. So this is going to run from the solar panels into the van. Here is the solar charge controller. We open up the box, we get a user manual, we get a temperature sensor, and let's take some box, and we get the charge controller itself. There's no fans built into this. It's a big heat sink in the back. I'm going to keep this more on the outside because the AC obviously is going to be running in the van from time to time. So that'll keep this nice and cool. We got select buttons. This does have built-in Bluetooth, but it's a Booz RV Sunflow 60 amp MPPT solar charge controller. We have our connections at the bottom. Temperature sensor. This is for the solar panels, positive and negative. This is a negative for the battery lead, a negative for a load if you're going to hook something directly up to solar charge control for power. And then we have the positive for the batteries, go directly to the battery, these two. And this is a positive for whatever load you have hooked up directly. I guess you can attach the like a light or something, any small accessories that this can actually turn on and control. This was at the time $219, bought it off of Amazon. I'm still waiting for a few other packages to come in. I installed the AC in the van in the back over here, and we're getting good charge off of the alternator, but it charges at 40 amps. I don't want to put too much strain on my alternator, so it's about upgrading my charging system for these batteries that I have. I have 400 amp hours lithium batteries that powers the back here in the back office of my van. Here in Florida, in Orlando, the best bet is to have the sun obviously charge the batteries over time. This would in turn keep the batteries charged up to 100 throughout the day. I got the solar charge controller, so at max, if anything, we can get about 60 amps of charge into the batteries. All right, so I'm on top of the van right now. See, on the Pro Masters, we have these little tabs here. And what it is that this piece here has a little notch, a little key in it. So what it is in case of it just goes right underneath, pulls up on that, onto that little tab. So flip on here, take the top portion, there's a little rubber mount, rubber feet. So this way I don't have to drill into the van itself. Then I'll add the unistrut bar on top of this. It'll go across the entire length of the top portion of the van. So we have the screws in here. Locked in right now, So at this portion, we've already added the 2 unistruts that go from front to the back. We now need to add the unistruts or super struts that go from left to right to span across the van. So we can attach the panels to this. So we're using these nylon nuts that lock these bars into the bottom super struts. And we also use these same cones as well on the solar panel so we can get that to attach to the rails. I was able to buy 2 300 and I believe they're 370 watt solar panels. I bought them for 100 each, so $200 for almost like pretty much 720 watts of solar. They're about almost 6 feet long, so it's going to be a hassle getting them up on the roof, but I believe there's enough space up there. So to attach the solar panels to the rails, I ended up adding the Z brackets onto them. I shifted them off center, and obviously so it doesn't overlap the other one when I place it on top of the rail. Being that the rail's so thin, I don't want them to bump up because then it won't be able to attach properly. So didn't have time to record everything or putting the panels up, but I have them on top of the van right now. As you can see, I've actually substituted this bolt for a 1 inch. I had a 1.5 before, and I just needed this rail to slide a little bit more, so I put the 1 inch. That allows me to move this over more, so I can move the rails that's in the back of the panels and the one in the front, so that they can, you know, mesh up tightly. So I'm just dry fitting all these screws right now, and I'm gonna see how it all tests out, then add some Loctite to everything once I'm done, and run my cables. It's nighttime, but we have the panels on the roof, so I'm gonna put in the cables for the solar. Found a spot, drill 2 holes right here, push the wires through, and I'm gonna put the gland on top of it. There's no turning back now. There's a hole in my roof. I have to drill another one. Kind of scared. So now we have the holes drilled. I'm going to add some, I have 2 rubber grommets, but this is the gland itself. It's going to go over that hole like so. So I have some double-sided adhesive, supposed to be like permanent bond. I'm going to put this on top here and let that sit, and then I'm going to have to caulk around it. But for now I'm just going to let this paint dry. Add some Rust-Oleum paint to the holes itself. I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm going to put the grommets and pass the cables through. So I'm going to use this lap sealant to put around the gland itself. Probably should have put some of this around the entry for the wires that I put in there, but this is the Corey self-leveling RV lap sealant. Just found something on Amazon, so let me just try it out if anything. Maybe I overdid it, but I'm going to clean this up and try to contain this little. So for the solar system we have here, we have it connected. It's the solar inputs, the first 2 that goes into this breaker over here. It's 20 amp breaker. Then we have the wires snaked through the body of the van going up to the roof, to the gland that's up there. Right now the app, it's nighttime, but the app is showing 14.3 volts of solar. Obviously it's no charge. Let's just flip the switch, turn the breaker off, go down to 0 volts, so the breaker actually works. Tomorrow when I have sun, I'm going to come out and check it and see what we're getting out of this. So this is the solar charge controller app. It shows how much power the solar panels are producing and actually how much power is going into the batteries, right? We can see it's doing about 17 to 20 amps going into the batteries. This right here was a picture the day after I installed the panels. A very clear day. It was hot day, but it produced about 582 watts. The most I've ever seen was about 600. So 740 you'll get under the best circumstances. So if you have any questions, leave it down in the comments below, and I'll be sure to get back to you in the next one.